Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today I have a theory and the thing that I want to talk about, something that I've been thinking about for quite a long time. The basis of this is the idea that I believe a lot of times too much attention to a weight loss journey, especially when that weight loss journey is still happening and still going, can almost always ruin that journey and make that journey significantly harder. And I, as someone that, this might sound hypocritical, right? I have attention because of a weight loss journey, right? I would almost always recommend against someone trying to, for lack of a better term, monetize their journey and instead focus on the weight loss, because it's already something that is so difficult. And just so often I see people that are trying to monetize a journey or just share a journey with a lot of people that in and of itself can make it so much more difficult. Some examples of this are people that we've obviously talked about before on the channel. Glitter and Lasers, Anna from Glitter and Lasers, something that happens pretty frequently. And I feel like this happens a lot of times with anyone that's kind of in this space that's trying to share their journey. Is a lot of times there will be a lot of support, especially at the start of whatever that journey might be. Obviously with Anna, she's definitely a little bit later in, this kind of cycle that I've noticed, is she will post about wanting to lose weight again or wanting to talk about her weight or whatever. There is a large amount of support of people very excited. But then when maybe Anna ends up waning on the weight loss or weight isn't coming off the speed that people expect, there starts to be a little bit more backlash, right? And then obviously with Anna, it's again to the extreme, right? Where there are complete Reddits that exist talking about the, times where she said she was going to lose weight and it didn't happen, or just the lies that maybe have been told, or lies that people perceive have been told. And that happens a lot. And something that I've noticed with Anna recently is she recently got into strongman training, which, is great or whatever. But obviously there is a ton of excitement for her. And then so that led her to make her own, a new TikTok, which is this one right here, which is Viking Princess Lifts. And this is just all about doing this strongman training, which again, that's great. And I think that is awesome that she is doing that. But I feel like it maybe I'll be proven wrong, and hopefully I am, but it's almost a matter of time until either this page is just not being used anymore, or people that are expecting certain, results from this are going to be like, hey, I thought that this was going to, I was really excited for you and you posted about it and you sounded like you were really going to be doing this. And then all of a sudden, things maybe slow down and then that doesn't end up happening. So it's a very common thing that I've definitely noticed with Anna. Another person that I think is a good example of this is Alexandra Rodriguez, right? I'm sure most of you guys know kind of about her. Obviously, the people that I'm talking about now are a little bit more polarizing because it's not just the weight that is the struggle, right? It's a lot of times like there's things that are said and then that doesn't end up happening and people get upset about being told one thing and then another thing happens, right? Especially with Alex, that's happened quite a bit where there is, something said is going to happen, it's not. But I think a big part of it is like, she got a big amount of her followers based on the size of, her size, right? She talked a lot about like plus size stuff, but then she was like, oh, I'm going to start losing weight. And then that got people excited. And then, she started gaining this following of people that had this expectation that, okay, so you are going to stick to this weight loss thing because you said that you really want to do it. And we are here to support you, right? Because I feel like when people want to support someone that is losing weight, a lot of times there is the reason that people are interested in that content, a lot of the times is because they feel somewhat attached to it, right? So they themselves need to lose weight or want to lose weight or are losing weight in conjunction with this creator that they are watching. And so they get a lot of motivation from it. And then it starts to be kind of parasocial, right? Where if the person that you are following for inspiration and motivation stops doing the weight loss stuff, you start to feel almost upset or hurt or disappointed or whatever it might be. And then a lot of times, from what I've seen over the years, I've been doing this for 12 years, the people that are watching for motivation and all of that stuff, they almost turn on the people that they have been watching for motivation and stuff like that. And it can just get really nasty. Now, obviously, the two examples that we use, and then you can obviously throw like Amberlynn in there, but she's like a super extreme case. But these are examples that I think are more on the extreme side. The cases that I see most frequently are going to be on like short form content sites like an Instagram or a TikTok that I've noticed this very frequently. I'm not going to bring up any of the creators that I am kind of thinking about in my head just because I don't want to bring them up, but something that I see very often, and this is kind of like the best example that I can give, is that someone will be starting a weight loss journey, right? They want to lose weight. So they have 100, 200, 300 pounds to lose, right? A lot of times it is these people that have massive amounts of weight to lose, right? And I think the reason for that is because it's more of a spectacle, and a lot of people can get behind someone trying to lose 300 pounds. It's like a very easy thing to get behind, right? So someone will make a video saying, I want to lose weight. And I want to make it clear, I'm not saying that these people are wrong for doing that. There's no wrong or right answer here. I'm just sharing my opinion, right? So this person makes a video, makes a post, whatever. I want to lose weight. Maybe it's really heartfelt. There's a lot of emotions behind it. And so that post, bam, hits the algorithm, poof, blows up, right? And this post gets them thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of followers, right? And there's this excitement that this person has, like, oh my gosh, I have all of these people that are rooting for me, that want the best for me, that want me to succeed. And a lot of times, it starts out really positive and the person ends up getting a lot of support. Awesome. Happy for you. That's awesome. But whether it is 2 weeks down the line, 2 months down the line, maybe even 6 months down the line, eventually what I have noticed is that the expectations from the audience becomes overwhelming to that creator that started making the content to just share their journey. And it can almost always makes what is already hard, which is losing significant amount of weight, it makes that more difficult for the creator or the person that is trying to do it, because they have so many opinions and there's so many comments and expectations, right? Whether or not it's real, it might just be in their head. They feel like because they have a few 100,000 followers, they have all of these expectations on them, and it really can lead people down a really dark path. And something that you see frequently, which I think, perfect example are the people that we were just talking about, Anna, Alex, and Amberlynn, is a lot of times these expectations start to really weigh on these people, and then they start to maybe bend the truth a little bit or not share as much as they were before, and then maybe they end up getting caught in a lie or something like that, right? And then it just is almost like a domino effect where the cards start falling, the house of cards starts kind of crumbling, and it ends up just becoming so much more difficult for this person that, wants to lose a ton of weight to do it, because they have this, these supporters or these people that are following that are now noticing all of the little slip ups or all of the times where they said they're going to do something and then that never ends up coming through. And then people start asking about that, and it just becomes this really vicious cycle. And then on top of all of that, what happens very frequently, right, is whenever anyone gets a large following, monetization comes after that, which again, there's nothing wrong with making a good amount of or any money off of your following. I think that that's fine as long as you do it in a way that's not, shady or anything like that, right? Like there's ads on this video, right? But I think that a lot of times these creators that end up getting this following, it just becomes so much all at once. And, these people are now getting hit up by these different companies and they're getting sponsored. And then people are like, wait, what's going on? Like, I thought that you were just trying to share your journey. Now you're trying to sell me supplements, or you're trying to sell me this thing. You're trying to sell me that thing. And then that again causes some backlash, and it just makes people feel like this person is no longer the, scrappy, just trying to get this weight off person that I was following. Now it just feels like they are another influencer. And then people start to feel almost like they've been lied to or they've been tricked. And then they feel even more frustrated. And then they start to call out all of the things that they feel are not happening as fast as they want it to be, right? Super common. You see people that are, losing weight or whatever, or wanting to lose weight online, get a big following, lots of support at the start, and then maybe their weight loss slows down or just whatever ends up happening, right? And then people start to notice that and they start to point that out, and then the creator is like almost trying to clap back at these comments and these people that are saying stuff, and it just ends up almost always falling apart. Now, I understand that maybe it sounds hypocritical coming from me, right? I'm a person, my name is Obese to Beast online, right? Like clearly I got a following from losing a lot of weight. I do feel like it's a little bit different because I started getting a following after I had lost basically all of the weight. But regardless of that, I'm not even saying that these people are wrong for doing what they're doing or posting about their journey. All I am saying is that I have noticed time and time again, when people try to share their journey online and then they get a large following, a lot of times that large following ends up being, it seems like a blessing, but it ends up being a curse. And it's just something that I have noticed that I feel like no one really talks about. And I do feel like it should be, and whenever I do see someone that I see like getting a big following and they're just starting, I'll try and message them and be like, hey, I've been doing this for a long time. I try to give them advice, not to be overbearing or anything like that, but it's just like, I want to see people succeed. And a lot of times what you would think would work, right? Having all of this, all of these people that are holding you accountable, you'd think that it would be this really helpful thing, but a lot of times it really can lead to almost a disaster. And I'm not saying it always does, because I get questions a lot of people being like, do you think that being obese to beast, right, having the following that you do has helped you maintain your weight? And I do think it has actually helped me, right? And so that's why I do think it's hard, because for me, certainly it's hard to even really quantify it, because I had lost the weight basically, and then that's when I started posting and I got a following, right? It was almost immediately after I had really lost weight. I lost the majority of my weight. Then I started posting my transformation. The first thing I ever posted on my Obese to Beast account on Instagram, which is where I started everything, was a before and after photo after I had lost, 200 pounds. And so then I started getting a following. And so I definitely do think that just having so many people that I feel are looking to my page, not so much anymore because I don't really talk about my weight loss journey, but at the start for sure, like I felt almost obligated to do well for the people. But there was a time when I was really struggling myself, when I was struggling with binge eating, was when I was, kind of first started becoming obese to beast. And I've talked about this before, because there was a time when I really was afraid of like, am I going to be able to keep this weight off? Is this something that I can do? Because I was really struggling with binge eating. I was over restricting and then overeating and binging like crazy. And it was just happening for a while. And I was able to work through that. I've made videos on it. You can't really talk about it too much on YouTube anymore because they'll demonetize the videos. But if you're interested, there are some videos up that have been not taken down from YouTube. But like there was a time when it was a very stressful thing. And I do believe that kind of disconnecting my channel from everything that I do, right? Obviously the videos that I make now are more commentary based. I genuinely do think it's helped me able to separate my journey and the things that I'm doing from the content that I'm making. And it's really been helpful, right? Because I don't have I'm not sharing everything that I'm doing in a day. So I'm not dealing with all of the comments and questions or people saying, you should do this, you shouldn't do this. Why are you doing this? Right? So I do think that it's been helpful for me, but it's just been something that I have noticed. And I know that this is probably very niche and I'm not sure how many people really even care about this, but at me as someone that, I guess people look at me as like a OG in the scene, right? Of the weight loss content creator, fat loss, I don't even know what to call it, right? I've been doing this for a long time. This is something that I have noticed. And now when I see someone get a big following kind of out of nowhere because they're going to be a weight loss person and they want to lose a lot of weight, I'm excited for them, but it's almost immediately followed with this sense of dread of like, oh man, I hope this works out for them. Like, I hope that they are able to do this, right? Because it really can turn into this thing that feels like such a huge blessing and like, oh man, this is going to be awesome for me, can really turn into something that really makes it much more difficult. And at the end of the day, the reason I make these videos and the reason I talk about this stuff is because I want people to be successful. And I am not sure if getting a big following online based on being a weight loss person is actually that beneficial. But that's just how I feel. It's just something that I wanted to share. I am very, very curious with this, what other people think. I'm assuming people probably don't think about this as much as I do. I probably overthink about this for sure, but it is something that is on my mind a lot. And I would really love to know what other people think. I'm sure a lot of you guys maybe watch other people and, is this something that you've noticed yourself? Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but I would love to know what y'all think down in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.